Today, I am mostly mixing a 20-minute epic mini documentary. It's now been signed off from like the people high up in the company who love it. Now I have to like buy all of the music and go through every single cut and make sure that the levels are all balanced out in the sound, that there's no little glitches, so it's absolutely perfect. I had 4 kids to drop at school this morning, which is good because basically that means the favour that I asked of somebody else a couple of weeks ago to get into London on time has been repaid. One of the things I'm going to try and do is join a Twitter chat. I've been told before that Twitter chats are really good ways of gaining visibility, of being seen, as well as, you know, having fun and learning things and so on and so forth. But there is one called Content Club. I always forget that it's on, so I actually put it in the diary to alert myself. That was really good fun. There are lists online of all the various Twitter chats so that you can find one that appeals to you. But yeah, that was good. Something I saw within the Being Freelance community on Facebook yesterday was somebody talking about Airtable. It's a bit like Trello and Asana, but much more rooted within a spreadsheet. You see, it looks like a spreadsheet, doesn't it? You adapt these fields to whatever you want. So you've got name of the project, who's working on it, and in here you can create loads of different collaborators. And the collaborators field is really useful for me, not because I necessarily want them to get notifications, but it allows me to see at an overview what the name of the project is, who's working on it, which designer or animator or scriptwriter, or me, and then the progress of it and the due date. See, we've got lots of stuff happening this week. I recommend it. Suddenly, it's nearly 2 o'clock. Wish me luck, off for my first ever personal training session. I'll be honest, I ache a bit already. Suddenly time to go and pick up the kids. I have had such a productive day. I quite like it when I have like real functional jobs that I can dig deep into. So, feeling pretty focused despite the late night last night finishing the vlog. I am mixing out lots of videos. Gave away biscuits live on Facebook in the Being Freelance community to another deserving freelancer. Sent them off to be delivered to them up in Scotland. Actually left the office at 1:30 in order to come to the gym, another personal training session. It's Saturday afternoon. So I was reading an article yesterday by Elise Stopson, and it was saying how it is good for SEO, as well as for your readers, to update old content. And we wrote an article a year ago about entering awards, and since then, of course, I've spoken to about 50 more people, and some of those have mentioned awards. So I've got new quotes that I can put in, and I can also update some of the photos and change a bit of the copy. So yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of refreshing the stuff we've already written and probably finding it a new audience. Two o'clock. I've got personal training. I think it's quite useful having that appointment because I'm someone who could easily fob off doing the exercise, but because I've made an appointment, and not a group appointment either, but a one-on-one appointment, it would be rude for me to even be late. Off into London today to meet Jan, who is a freelancer I met when we were both speaking at an event before Christmas, and it was really good to see him. I literally have just gone into London and then back again just to see him. I'm so glad I did. Like, I have lots to do. You might think it doesn't make sense to take that time out, but I think there's a lot to be gained from, I've said it enough, from meeting other freelancers. And it's so stupid because it's just one of those things I should do properly as I go along. I need to get better at that. Again, so busy doing that account stuff today. If I didn't have a personal training session booked in, I just wouldn't have gone. So, had a meeting in here today with Andrew, who is based out of the office. He's a marketing guy and wants some help editing some videos, so working with him, so that's nice. I think that's the first collaboration that I have had within this co-work space, which is quite interesting. You know how earlier on in the week I was fixing the back of my cable? Look at that! That is now rock solid. It's called Suguru moldable glue, and I hugely recommend it. You know, like how iPhone cables, smartphone cables and stuff all get frayed? Power cables, like for your Mac, that like cost about 70 quid to replace? Suguru glue. It's silly, isn't it? Be it finances, cables, my body. It's easier to take care of things as you go along than fix them later.